Hi, I'm Capt Frank Lanier, a retired Coast Guard officer and SAMS Accredited Marine Surveyor with over 40 years of experience in the maritime and diving industry. I've amassed literally thousands of photos of all the bad things I've found on boats during my career as a Marine Surveyor. So what we're going to do today is take a look at some of my favorites. We're going to take a look at each picture. We're going to discuss why they're evil, and we're going to discuss what you need to do to correct it. So hop in, buckle up, keep your arms and legs inside the car at all times as we take a carnival-like ride tour through the cavalcade of owner-induced perversions that I like to call Capt Frank's Sea Chest of Horror. Sea Chest of Horror. This is the type of wiring layout that a technician hopes to see when they step on board a boat to do some troubleshooting. Sadly, the grim reality is they're more likely to see something like this, or even this one here. Can you feel the frustration of the poor technician tasked with troubleshooting an electrical problem in this mess? The only thing worse than dealing with an electrical issue is having to wade through a jumble of loose, unorganized wiring before even beginning the troubleshooting process. Unsupported wires and cables can bounce around while underway, causing plenty of electrical issues, ranging from broken connectors or wires to gremlin-like intermittent problems that seem to magically appear and disappear with no rhyme or reason. Let's take a look at just some of the few problems easily visible in this rat's nest of wiring. First up, the venerable, rusty, corroded alligator clamp. You know, whatever's getting its power from this thing has a slew of intermittent issues and operational problems. Or what about this loose power connection? You know this baby is arcing and sparking every time the boat hits a wave. And let's don't forget the potential excitement that can be caused by these two exposed, energized conductors as they bounce around the boat looking for something to short. The builder of this vessel has added bits of scrap iron, steel, probably anything else he could get his hands on to add weight to the poured concrete ballast. Concrete is not very heavy, particularly as compared to lead. Once water seeps into the concrete area or the ballast from the bilge or possibly via hull damage, the metal scraps begin to rust and expand, causing the fiberglass of the hull to crack and rupture. The voids in the concrete indicate where the metal scraps are located. Want to start an argument in most any boatyard? Find a boat where the shaft nuts are in this configuration, thick nut first, thin nut last, and tell the owner or yard manager who installed it that they're backwards. It seems like a no-brainer that the larger nut against the prop would do most of the work, and then the smaller nut should just go on second to kind of hold it in place. In reality, however, it's the smaller nut that should always go against the load because it is the jammed nut, not the jam nut. That's because when the second outer nut is tightened down, it compresses and deforms the inner nut a tiny bit, rotating it a fraction of a turn. This effectively unloads the threads of the first nut and engages the threads of the second nut. Thus, the top or outer nut actually takes all the load. As the larger nut has more thread area and thus more holding power, it's the one you want as the outer nut. I see prop nuts installed backward like this all the time. Is it a critical error? No, because if it was, half the boats in the world wouldn't have props on them. However, it is technically inaccurate. So if you do pull your prop off, then why not just put it on the right way? I used to get in arguments with brokers and yard guys all the time on this. Well, we've been doing it this way for 40 years. Well, you know what, buddy? You've been doing it wrong for 40 years. However, now I've mellowed out in my old age, so I just make a note of it and write it in my reports.